Season preview for the 2025-2026 Brooklyn Nets. So this is the projected starting five for the upcoming season. Got Terrence Mann, Cam Thomas, Keon Johnson, MPJ, and Nicholas Claxton. So the main goals for the Nets this upcoming season is number one, to stink it up real good. Unlike some other years where they haven't had their own draft pick, they actually own their own draft pick this year. And with the team that they're going to be rolling out there, they have zero incentive to be a good team this year. So obviously they want to be as bad as possible this year, even though in the past couple years or whatever, it's been proven that even if you have the worst record in the NBA, it doesn't necessarily guarantee that you're going to get the number one pick, but you have a higher chance at it. So this is the reason why teams are still tanking to this day. And the second main goal for the season is going to be to scout for disgruntled stars. The Nets have made it pretty clear this decade that their main goals are to try and get that big fish over into Brooklyn. So they already did it one time with the KD, Kyrie, James Harden Nets, but obviously that didn't end up working out. Brooklyn, New York in general is just always going to be one of those places that free agents are going to have interest in, especially if it's an opportunity to have a new situation that's built around them. So the Nets are always going to keep their eyes open because I don't think that they are super gung-ho about building a roster that's just Nicholas Claxton and Michael Porter Jr. as the main pieces. Along with them stinking it up, obviously comes with the development of all these young players that they have on this team. The Nets are definitely going to be one of the youngest teams in the NBA this upcoming season, as they took 5 first-round picks in this year's draft. So obviously they want all these players to kind of play and see who's going to be worth keeping and building around, and who's going to end up getting consolidated down the road. This is going to put a player like a Cam Thomas in an awkward situation. He already kind of is. I recently dropped a video talking about restricted free agency and how a player like him is in kind of a stuck position where he may just have to take the qualifying offer. But even if he does that, there's no incentive for the Nets to play him big minutes when they have all these other young players that are going to need minutes, so that he doesn't build up his way to get some huge contract offer from them or someone else. That's a different conversation by itself, but for Cam Thomas, he's going to be in a position where he's going to want to prove himself. This may mean just him taking all the shots when he's on the court if he can. It's going to be a tug of war between him and the direction that the rest of the team is kind of going. So it'll be interesting. I wouldn't be too surprised if he got shipped out later into the season if he does pick up his qualifying offer. Speaking on the draft capital that they have for the upcoming season, like I said, they have their own 2026 first round pick as well as 2 seconds, one with some protections on it. They may want to add to this list. Obviously, the Nets are still wanting to continuously build up that asset pool that they had. They built it up a good bit last year through the trades to get some of their own picks back and to get a lot of the Knicks picks in the Mikal Bridges trade. So the ways that they would add more assets to the team, looking at the trade block candidates, is by building up the value of a Michael Porter Jr., building up the value of a Nick Claxton, and then potentially shipping them out to a team that has a need at center, has a need on the wings for some shooting and some rebounding in Michael Porter Jr.'s case. Also, they could go the route of taking on some of these contracts that another team doesn't want, which is what they pretty much did with Terrence Mann being the third team in the Kristaps Porzingis trade in the offseason. I can see them continuing to do that because they still do have cap space right now, which most teams in the NBA can't say that. It's really just them and the Jazz with a little bit, which I'm going to talk about the Jazz next. They're going to want to keep adding Terrence Mann type contracts onto the roster and just continuing to build up that draft capital. Now, who do I think could be the breakout candidate for the Nets this year? Obviously, they have a lot of younger players that could definitely fill this role, but I'm going to say Michael Porter Jr. I know I just had him in the trade block section just before this, but this is going to be the first time in his career that he's going to be the first option on a team. We could see him reach a new height that he hasn't reached to this point in his career so far, or we can see exactly why the Nuggets shipped him out to begin with. He's never thinking pass. Like, you know how people could be thinking dribble, pass, or shoot? His just says shoot every time. He's got nothing but the square on his controller. But that being said, having that mentality is good for a player that's the number one option on a stinky team like this, because he's just going to be able to really go out there and play his heart out and get them numbers up, which could work in his favor, or it could just get him shipped out somewhere else. That being said, I have the Nets as the number 29 team in the NBA this year. Let me know your thoughts down below, like the video, subscribe, and stay tuned for when your team comes up next on these 2026 season previews.